Good evening. This is Dwayne Lowry for the DPP Grain Desk with a Sunday night commentary on Sunday, December 11th. As far as tonight is concerned, a few different ways to look at things, a few different types of commentaries that will probably be around. I think to start out with, we're probably looking at values close to unchanged from Friday, maybe a slight upward bias. That upward bias might come from a couple of different angles. One, the outside markets had a little bit of firmness late Friday, and some will be expecting that to follow through and carry upward initially here tonight. Also, you've got corn and wheat that closed well off the early weakness, and I think that's going to create a little bit of positiveness. You got some people talking about South American weather, saying it's concerning for parts of southern Brazil and parts of Argentina. A certain amount of truth to that, but there's also a certain amount of truth that the emphasis is on small parts. The vast majority of the areas are doing relatively fine, acceptable shape. It's probably also true that the marketplace has very little what-if premium built into current prices, and they'd be susceptible to responding rather quickly if there was a perceived problem down there. I'm not sure the forecast that we have is the type of forecast that creates that response. There are some moisture opportunities in the forecast. It's also true that some of those forecasted rains over the last several days has not panned out as well as expected. But I don't think there's a broad-based fear there yet. So that might provide some support. Weakness might provide some initial support, but I don't think that's the marketplace primary focus here. Outside markets performed relatively well on Friday, and some will see that as an encouraging sign to start the week. But I think as the European summit becomes more digested as time goes by, I think there's going to be a growing disappointment that they didn't come to the type of conclusion that paves the way for the European Central Bank to quickly and decisively come in with a more stimulative measure. And I think as we look forward in the months ahead, I think there's going to be a growing fear of recession in parts of Europe and that impact that it will have on global economy. So I'm not so sure that the outside markets in reality might prove to be a drag on commodity price tone yet this week as the week unfolds and in the months ahead. That being said, I think there's a possibility that as we move forward here, there's going to be a trap in trying to be bearish the grain market from current price levels based on these outside market performances that could well be a drag in the months ahead. Overall technical conditions in the grain market, I think, continue to point to the area of recent lows as being a price zone that is capable of defining major price bottoms. I think the price action we've had in the last couple of weeks has been consistent with that type of a theme of a possibility that we are defining major price bottoms. And I think that if we experience price jabs below last week's lows, which I wouldn't rule that out, I don't think you're going to build any meaningful and sustaining downside momentum here. Overall conditions, I think, points to major price lows being established. I think it's true that South American weather has been such that the marketplace has little or no premium built into prices and could be quick to respond. It's also true that we are largely in the very beginning stages of that growing season. We certainly have periods of anxiety ahead of us. And I think that trying to be bearish the grain market for any reason at this point runs the risk of being a trap. It also needs to be again pointed out that people are just now getting bearish grain, and they're getting bearish the grains on news items and factors that were certainly have been around for months, not just in the last several days. So I think people are getting caught here out of position in year-end trading, which is oftentimes a trap. So look for maybe some trade on both sides tonight. Little concern that as the night unfolds, as the week unfolds, outside markets could be a drag. A little bit concerned that the grains could experience another test or probe of last week's lows. But overall conditions, I don't think we're going anywhere to the downside. I think we need to be searching for opportunities for long-term ownership if that happens to be something that your business could benefit from. The DPP Grain Desk, this has been Dwayne Lowry. Thank you.